Hello everyone. Today we're working on a BMW E61 with the N54 engine. The alternator on this car has failed. It's been showing low voltage readings even while running. I was seeing somewhere in the ballpark of 10 to 12 volts while driving. I've replaced the voltage regulator in the past on this car, which helped temporarily. I think that was just a band-aid to having to replace the alternator eventually. Eventually, I did start getting battery warning lights and a 4x4 DSC light that popped up on startup. Typically, in my history of messing with this car, whenever the battery would die, that would be a common symptom of that, or if I was running low voltage in general. Now, quick heads up, sorry for the super fast time-lapse footage here. I didn't realize the camera was recording at that speed in the time-lapse settings, so I'll cover whatever you might have missed with some of the voiceover here, so just make sure you're tuned into that as well. Getting the alternator out on this platform is a little tricky. It really just depends on how snugly fit the alternator is in, and if it's pretty hard to take out, it's probably going to be pretty rough to put back in, at least in my scenario. In my case, it was really tough to put back in, so I did have to make a few careful modifications. So to start, what you've probably seen so far in the video here is me removing the hardware on the alternator. After the hardware was removed, I realized that there really wasn't that much space to work with. So once I realized the alternator wasn't just going to slide right out, I started to remove the intake manifold. I had to also remove the charge pipe. What you haven't seen here, or what you see here in this video footage, is the socket wrench sticking up on the idler pulley. I've already removed the two Torx bolts holding the inlet tube in. So at this point, it's just a matter of freeing up space on the back end. The belt's already been loosened up as well. I'm just making space here to pull the intake manifold out. Again, the charge pipe was disconnected from the throttle body. The silicone tube that I had for my aftermarket charge pipe was also removed because the bolts are at a really tight angle here. You'll see a good bit of me struggling. It took me a while to forfeit the idea of having to remove any other pieces to get the alternator free. You'll see here I'm using a rather large flathead to pry the alternator out, the old one that is. Did take a photo side by side of the old alternator up against the new alternator. Everything was pretty much the same. You'll notice the only difference here is really the positive battery connector. It angles slightly downwards on the new unit, but that wasn't an issue for me. Dropping the alternator in wasn't really that difficult. It was really just fitting the alternator within the existing mounting. On the top, it free floats and you just drop a bolt into the top there to tighten it down, but on the bottom, it sits between a bracket that you have to slide the bottom into. I never do get this in without making any modifications. I don't know if others have, but for me, it just wouldn't slide in. This is another angle and another tactic that I tried to get the alternator into place. This didn't work out for me. Don't know if it would work for somebody else, just based on the clearances that you might have that may be different, but it didn't work for me. I also even tried threading a bolt into the side of the alternator next to the pulley and prying it from there to drop it in, but that didn't work. What I did end up going with eventually is taking this little detail sander and just shaving off the edge of the mounting here. I did a lot of testing back and forth. I would drop it in, see if it would fit, take it out, shave just a little bit. Just want to take a moment to say thank you for tuning into the video. If you've found any value out of this video or any other video that you've watched on my channel, I'd just like to ask for a moment for you to stop and hit the like and subscribe button. Thanks. Eventually, after a lot of back and forth, I did end up getting the fitment right. You'll see here in the image or the video that I'm showing, those are the two mounting bolts at the bottom. The metal kept catching on this bracket here, and I could never get it to pry in. But you'll see here just in a second how easy it drops in after making those modifications back and forth. Again, just want to emphasize, I think if this is the route that you do have to end up going, definitely only trim off what you need. Don't forget that that pulley is going to have a belt on it, and generally speaking, you don't want that to be vibrating too much. But really, once you've got everything out of the way, the intake manifold, the charge pipes, the cables and vacuum lines that might be in the way, it's really a simple job once you've modified the mounting as you need in your situation. It's really straightforward. Had I known that this was going to be the course of action that I took, then I probably would have done this a lot sooner and saved myself a couple of hours, because I spent a lot of time trying to get this in without making any modifications.